Welcome to the Smart Driving Cars podcast. We appreciate you spending some time with us. We've got some news to share. This edition is sponsored by the Smart ETF's Smart Transportation and Technology ETF, symbol MOTO. For more information, head to motoetf.com. I'm Fred Fishkin, along with the Faculty Chair of Autonomous Vehicle Engineering at Princeton University, Alain Kornhauser. Hi again, Alain.
Hi, everyone.
And joining us for this special edition, once again, is John Rich, the Director of Autonomous Vehicle and Technology Development at the Ford Motor Company. John, it's really great to have you back with us.
Oh, great to be here and great to see you guys again.
Well, in the last episode, you filled us in on the work that you're doing with Argo AI, where Ford has a majority or an equal stake with Volkswagen in developing self-driving technology and vehicles. And now you have some news on that front, announcing a next generation test vehicle.
Yeah, we are on the verge of putting on the road imminently. You'll start to see them in certain select markets. Our fourth generation of prototype with Argo, and it is we call it the kind of the final step of prototype. We've had a lot of learnings along the way and a lot of development, but what we have today is a vehicle capable of supporting the true removal of the driver. There's a lot of different moving parts here, right? We think about sensors, we think about compute, but there's a lot on the car as well in terms of redundant systems, fail functional, safe systems that enable the removal of the driver and the things that the driver would normally take care of to allow to happen seamlessly in the vehicle. It's a tremendously sophisticated piece of equipment, and I guess as you look at the different players on the road, I think there are 62 different permits pulled with California to drive autonomously. Depending on your knowledge and experience with an AV, a lot of these things can look alike. A lot of them can have a big LiDAR on the top. They can have a bunch of sensors strapped around the sides. A lot of people are using ski racks and different things. There's various levels of compute. What we're putting on the road now is a really comprehensive sensor suite. It is complete. It is in the sense that it is capable of detecting everything around the vehicle that we need to detect to drive the vehicle, both in the very close to the vehicle, medium, and far, across different weather situations, and really in a comprehensive, a very, very comprehensive manner. I'd suggest that there's probably one other player who's that complete on the market, who's been at this a little longer than we have. But they're not all AVs are created equally, and we're in a very unique space, rarefied air with these.
And this is based on the Ford Escape hybrid platform. Tell us about the decision-making process there and not being fully electric. We kind of talked about this a little earlier in the previous episode, but tell us more.
Yeah, as we said, EVs and AVs are a match made in heaven. We're just not quite to heaven yet. The power consumption of the self-driving system is still high. We're not yet optimized. We're trying to make sure we cover all bases, and in doing so, the power consumption is relatively high for the current manifestations of EVs. We have battery limitations and range limitations and fast charge limitations that are improving rapidly. Again, these are engineering challenges. They're not beyond the wit of man. They're not physics challenges, but we're not quite to the point where in EV and AV are easy matchups if you want to keep your utilization high and your uptime high. As we work through that, our first vehicle will be a hybrid electric, being able to bridge some of those gaps. It's just a very practical choice. So we've chosen our Escape Hybrid, which is an excellent hybrid product. very obviously proven in the marketplace, and we've adapted and modified from that point. And it's proven to be a very versatile player in terms of being able to package a very sophisticated array of electronics and compute and redundant systems within the form factor and still look and function like a car.
Any thoughts about how many of these you might be building?
That's a number I'd rather not disclose for competitive reasons, but we're building a bunch. we're making them like potato chips.
You're saying that the test vehicles here are launch intent. I think that's the phrase that's being used with the technology needed to support commercialization. So what does that mean?
That means as we move to a fully production version, that fundamentally the design intent of the system is there, that the software engineers at Argo have a very stable platform to work from, and that they're advancing the end state, the effective end state of the vehicle that we will put into higher volume production. It's the things that will change. The systems will be hardened to automotive grade, and to ensure that the functionality is there, the uptime's there, and steadily improved. But the design intent of the system is there, and again, we give our partners at Argo a stable platform to work from and really get down to brass tacks on pulling the driver.
Yeah, in that process of pulling the driver, you also have to deal with the passenger. Have you made any modifications with the Escape on that to better deal with it, or do you think that the fundamental design of the Escape is one in which it's really it works for that sort of passenger part of it?
For a simple passenger problem, the Escape works really well. It's a great vehicle in a TNC type application. There will certainly be, you no longer have a driver. There will certainly be modifications to support the interface with a human and the interaction with a human that is just fundamentally changed now. And I don't want to go too far into those, but you can imagine.
Yeah,
you can imagine how this might matter.
You're working on that because, of course, you have to be able to interface with your customer, because now they're the customer that's coming in there. You have to make them feel comfortable. You have to give them support. You have to do all the various things that so that they come back, because they need to be a customer every day. It's not that you just get them one time in a showroom and they go off until next year. You want them every day or multiple times a day even, right? I mean, it's
you bet. And that's really one of the truly important aspects of getting stable on the platform,
right.
and the vehicle that you're working from. We will certainly learn a lot in coming months on the interaction with the human with these vehicles. We've previous prototypes. We've learned a ton about sensor fusion, about what we're seeing, what we're not seeing, what we need to see, what we need to improve. These vehicles will enable us to again stabilize and mature the software, but also take that next step in learning how to interface with the human. It is there are no shortage of challenges in AV that are massive undertakings, but that interaction with the human is one of the most critical.
What are some of the key differences, the key changes in stepping up to this next generation?
Well, the sophistication of the sensing is a start point, and we have with the best players in the industry. We talked in the last session about Velodyne and several other key partners I won't mention, but we've picked the best of breed, and we've had a long, hard development process. The state of the art of sensing technology was not adequate to do what we needed to do at the onset of this project, and that's a key difference between what this vehicle is and others on the road. that we've had to go develop again with the best and the brightest partners that we can find, a suite of sensing capabilities that are above what's on the market today. And that's long range lidar, that's short range lidar, that's obviously cameras and other sensors, and the fusion of those, getting those matured and capable to a new standard, and then getting them settled down and stable enough for the Argo team to really do their magic, work their magic with them, is what we're after here. And again, it's very easy for me to differentiate different AV efforts on the road just by looking at them and knowing what's off the shelf and what works and what doesn't work, because we've been through it all. We've been through again this. When you're heading into your fourth generation of this, you learn a lot along the way. You learn, and you look at a lot of other efforts and you say, I already know that doesn't work. So we're happy to be at the level we're at. Again, we're in fairly rarefied air. I won't get specific on that, but I only know of one other player who's in this space right now.
Yeah, I mean, I tell my students, like the senior thesis students, you're doing a thesis, but you don't know the outcome. You don't know whether you're going to be right or you're going to be wrong. I mean, if you did, you wouldn't be doing this. And if you come out and you say, hey, this was not a good way to do things, it's important that's an important contribution, so that others don't go down that way. Now, if you're, competing with others, but on the safety end that we talked about before, I think it's important that we find ways that we can all play together to improve the safety piece of this darn thing. And
no question.
One of the things I read, John, is one of the things that you've learned is the need for a better sensor cleaning system, and that's in this new generation.
We have elaborate real-time sensor cleaning, and obviously if your glasses are covered with road debris, you're not gonna see very far, and you're gonna have,
it's more than a windshield wiper, right? I mean, how marvelous was the windshield wiper, and how marvelous was the windshield that allowed a windshield wiper to, right?
I may have had a car or two that had vacuum wipers, and I'm sure you guys remember what that was like. But we're extracting, we're preventing, I said most importantly, preventing debris and cleaning debris to a standard that is exceptional and necessary. And again, if you put a bunch of road gook on your glasses, it's not going to be a very pretty picture for what you can see.
Yeah.
I think all three of us can relate. We're all wearing glasses here.
Yeah, no, I mean, in a sense, people claim, oh my goodness, they've run out of steam, it's going slow. But all those, the first 80% is always easy. Okay, it's the next 19 and the next 0.9 and the next 0.09 and the next 0.009. Right?
Yeah, this is not a game of 80%. 80% is easy. You're exactly right. There's YouTube videos from some really irresponsible
come
players.
Come on, DARPA challenge,
years.
Man, I was there. I mean, 2005. What the hell?
But and I'll say even probably 99% is easy, but it's not. This isn't a 99% game. This is not a 99%. How many nines? How many nines after the decimal point is?
Absolutely, that's the game here.
We'll continue in just a moment, but this is a good time to remind you about our sponsor, the Smart ETF's Smart Transportation and Technology ETF. The symbol is MOTO. To get more info, head to motoetf.com. On the website, look for the white paper. It's under the Insights and News tab. It's called The Smart Transportation Revolution. Great information there to help you make informed decisions about investing. And you may know that ETFs are a smart way to spread risk when you're investing and focus on a particular category. The site, once again, is motoetf.com. We're back with John Rich. And John, tell us how soon, if you can, these new vehicles might be on the road in the cities where you're testing.
Yeah, I mean, we're very careful not to overpromise and build up hype. We will pull drivers and execute systems when they are ready and not before. And we will expand ODDs when they are ready and not before. So we're extremely careful and methodical. We expect right now that we will launch commercial services that are self-driving in our three primary markets in 2022. And I think we've said that carefully but publicly. That does not mean I'm going to pull a safety driver in 22 necessarily. We will pull a safety driver when all the planets and stars are aligned, and we are comfortable, we are confident, we have data that backs that up. Our communities are comfortable. Their communities know that we're doing good things for them, and we will methodically expand beyond that at a point beyond 22. So while we may enter autonomous-based services more meaningfully in 22, we will have a careful march forward towards their broader manifestation over the years that follow.
And applaud for saying that, and that's absolutely the only way to do this. I mean, it's the only way. It's the only responsible way to do this, because you have to be responsible. Okay, you can't say, "Hey, dog ate my homework" or something like that, or blame it on somebody else.
You don't hear that at Princeton, I don't think. John, what might a Ford Argo service look like? Is it going to be very similar to what we're seeing with Waymo or Uber and Lyft kind of thing?
I want to hold off on being specific about our go-to-market manifestation right now. I think we'll, in the not too distant future, we'll have some announcements on that, but it's probably not fully appropriate to comment on it. It's not hard to imagine, something that in the light of what Waymo's doing as a start point. Not hard to imagine moving goods in different manner, but I would like to refrain from comment on the specifics of our go-to-market approach.
Well, you've already told us a bit in the last episode about kind of your long-term vision for this and this new kind of mobility. What are your thoughts about the role of dealerships going forward and Ford's relationship with dealers? Is this going to be a real upheaval coming?
Well, let's remember what first of all, the upheaval here, especially in the early days of this, are going to be around urban centers and cars that displacing vehicles that frankly we're not the largest player of. Our dealers, we've been in partnerships with our dealers for 117 years, and we are not walking away from our dealer partnerships. They are core to our experience and our frankly our vitality as a company. We can imagine roles for dealers to play. We involve the three markets that we are in. We have involved the dealer base from day one, and visit, and frankly, every time I'm in market, I visit dealer principals. So we view the dealer as an integral part. We don't think we're displacing their primary business right now with these. Especially our core products really are outside of the space that autonomy displaces.
And they could play a role, I suppose, in maintaining vehicles and in centers for vehicles being dispatched, et cetera, things like that.
You can certainly imagine a variety of roles that dealers might play in the future with us, and we are very open-minded to all of it right now.
Terrific stuff. And we want to mention once again, we've got the fourth annual Princeton Smart Driving Car Summit coming up. It's in the planning stages, taking place December 8th through the 10th, it looks like, Alain. It's going to be a great program, I think, once again, even though it's virtual.
We'll do it virtual. Another thing I'm doing this coming week is something, and they claim they're going to do a virtual wine tasting. I can't wait to see that, because maybe I'll try it. Although I was suggesting that I was going to bring my $3 chuck from Trader Joe's. I'm not sure that I would be appreciated. you know, with my $3 chuck, but whatever.
Well,
Yeah,
if
I
it's
mean,
virtual, you're not going to get pulled over on the way home. That's the good thing.
yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah, I mean, one of the tough things to do in virtual land is to deal with the human interaction. This is what we're struggling through and trying to teach remotely. I mean, of course, we're doing a great job. Personally, I hate it. You know, not being in the classroom with the students. I mean, it's just. I'm not a
Right.
University of Phoenix fan, so you know, I mean, and I certainly don't want Princeton to become the Princeton University of Phoenix. And John has his Dartmouth sweater there, and I'm sure he doesn't want Dartmouth to become the Dartmouth University of Phoenix. I don't know. It's
John,
kind
tell
of
us about
destroys the
your
experience.
tell us about your team, John, and keeping the work going during the pandemic and the role that this technology has played there.
The pandemic has been an interesting experience for all of us in many different ways. From a traditional auto company standpoint, it's just hard to imagine, the work patterns going online as frankly as seamlessly as they did. The company really pulled together and executed some things and continues to execute some things that I find astonishing from the manufacturing floor to software writing. Some things, frankly, probably work a little better during the pandemic. There's quiet time and efficiency, and some elements of software actually picked up a little speed. Other things were enormous challenges. Obviously, you can't run a plant without people in place and running a facility. And from my perspective, we were in the process of building some very, very sophisticated prototypes that needed a tight team around them to do that. We got through that. We got through it safely, and we got through it in a manner that, frankly, had the right priority on keeping our employees safe and taking care of each other, and maintaining focus on the mission. So I'm just I couldn't be more proud of the team I work with that has worked through this. But I think we've also probably learned some efficiencies in this, like everybody, across the country in different roles and places. So there will be things that will improve out of this. There are a lot of things that collaboration face to face will really it'll be wonderful to be back in a design center or lab.
Yep.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. Thank you once again, John, for taking the time to join us here. And people should be looking for the posts on Medium from you and your team there to follow all the work that you're doing, and really appreciate it.
No, great to see you guys. Talk to you guys anytime.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Really appreciate this. This is a real treat for us. Of course, it's a real treat. I mean, you're doing it. We're sitting here, trying to peek in and so on. But yeah, and no, it's a good job, and we are at the very beginning of this thing, but the opportunities that every time I talk about it with my students, I say, I don't know that I've seen something that, man, it's hard to find a negative of it. We could screw it all up, but there are opportunities there that just, unbelievable.
I'll channel my inner Clay Christensen on this one, who would have said transformations like this take longer to get over the line than they are initially envisioned, but ultimately become much more complete and thorough than they ever imagined. Yeah. So it's what we're seeing here will manifest itself in ways that we just haven't figured out yet.
Right.
And that's the wonder of it, right?
Yeah, to me, it's a pleasure working in this space. It's a pleasure. It's just it's a pleasure.
It's a rare honor.
Yeah, a rare honor is even a better way to say it. No, it really is. It's a rare honor.
Well, thank you again, John. And thank you to our sponsor, the Smart ETF's Smart Transportation and Technology ETF. The ticker symbol for the ETF is MOTO, and more information is available at motoetf.com. You can find us at smartdrivingcar.com, also on Anchor FM, Spotify, TuneIn, Apple, Google, Spreaker, wherever you get your podcast. We're on Amazon Music now, too. They've got the podcast. Ask your smart speaker to play us. You can find my tech reports at textination.com. I'm Fred Fishkin along with Alain Kornhauser. Thanks for listening or watching, and please stay safe.
And thank you so very much, John.
Oh, no problem. Good to do this. Fun discussion.